Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Word from our sponsors. It's your host Ricky. I got the extremely talented, extremely smart, extremely funny Jasmine Watkins stopping by this week. We are talking NBA Finals now. It's here. The Suns have stamped their ticket. Chris Paul's going to his first NBA Finals. I asked Jasmine what that means for his career and where she has him ranked in the all-time point guards list. And then we talk about the entire NBA season and if this is one that she'll remember or one that's going to go back into the filing cabinet with all the injuries to superstars. And then we hop into one of my favorite topics, social media. I talked to Jasmine about the top apps that she can't live without, her career path in the social media world, and the all-new Buzzer app and the company that she is excited to be working with now. So great interview with Jasmine coming up. Stick around for that. And now, a word from our sponsors.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Hey, welcome to a new episode of Word from our sponsors. It's your host, Ricky, and my guest this week. I don't mean to get too dramatic. I don't mean to be too extra, but some folks have called her an icon. Some folks have called her an NBA Twitter rising star. She is definitely your favorite account's favorite account, more copied than the nerd in high school. We got Jasmine Watkins in the building. Jasmine, how you doing today?
I'm great. That was a great intro. I mean, you took that. Definitely sold me, but I'm gonna take it. I'm just riding this wave.
Yeah, we're just going to keep it on a high note. We were going over the game plan for the show today. We got, the Phoenix Suns are in the NBA Finals. This is an adjustment for me being an early 90s baby. The Suns were in the finals last in 93. I was one. Okay, so I've never seen it with my eyeballs, what it's like for the Phoenix Suns to be in the main stage, right? But I don't know. Let's just start there, Jay. How do you interpret this? How do you take in Chris Paul seeing his first finals appearance and Devin Booker and the whole squad getting there?
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the Suns squad, but it's probably the Laker fan in me really not wanting the Clippers to advance any further. Chris Paul pays dues. It's time for him to win. I wish it could have been on the Lakers, but that's another story.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be an open wound. I don't think that's ever going to close with the, I don't mean to speak on nobody that's not here, so we'll just keep it moving. I was just very disappointed. I didn't know that he's also the second and third on the list of oldest players to score more than 40 in a closeout game. So apparently he's built for this if they're not going to jag the entire series away. So, I mean, what do you make of this for Chris Paul's legacy? Is this going to be a huge deal? Does this change how folks are going to view him? Does it change how you view him now that he's making a finals appearance?
Yes. I'm all in on Chris Paul. I really am. I want him to win. I have him very high on best list, but it's that, you're missing that championship. It drops you down a little bit. So yeah, the finals is definitely a boost. He'll be up there with maybe the Allen Iverson. And I'm a big AI fan, so to say that it takes a lot. But yeah, and it's probably because I think he's about to once he gets into the finals, they're gonna win. I think that'll solidify his stance.
Just to back it up a bit. Chris Paul, now that he's in the finals, he is now at Allen Iverson's level. You have him neck and neck now. Not he wasn't before this. That was holding him back from being at AI's level. Yes.
Yes, but it's hard to say that because AI changed every bit of the game, culturally, on the court, off the court. He was doing everything. Chris Paul is just I'm in a State Farm commercial. That's cool, but it's, to me, some parts of his maybe off the court game are missing. So I like him. I think he's up there. If I had to just guess, I'd put him top 7-ish.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think it's fair. I'm also real old school, so I've watched the Magic, the Isaiah Thomas. So Chris Paul is down there.
Right, naturally. I mean, But I asked you before where, like, you kind of see him in this whole scheme of things of point guard echelons, and like I'm writing my list. I'm trying to see, and it's like after, at least to me, Magic Johnson, you kind of have buckets. I mean, Magic, in my opinion, is the best point guard ever to grace this earth. And then depending on how you consider what position Steph Curry plays, I think I might have him at number 2. I don't know if that's too spicy right now, but I think if he's a point guard, he's definitely up there for his accomplishments, greatest shooters ever. If he's a shooting guard, okay, now I probably have him somewhere 3. So I don't know. Let's just start at the top right there. I think we're agreed on Magic, right?
Yes. I do think Steph is a point guard. I maybe have him like 3, 4-ish.
Okay.
I like just watching old film from like Isaiah Thomas, like what he did in that time was like really crazy. So I can't give Steph. I mean, and even if he got like more championships, who's to say if that will change my opinion? But just like the whole game was different, and that's why like on NBA Twitter, like you'll see me and I'm just being like very lighthearted. Like I don't get into IT would dominate now or LeBron James would dominate then. Like
right, that's pointless.
To me, it's like, yeah, who cares? Because it's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm. You brought up IT, the original IT, right? I have Isaiah Thomas at number 3. Okay, so just like for me understanding the importance and how cold he actually was. Like folks always talk about, oh, he had a great team around him, a great supporting class. Who was the scorer? Who were just the offensive machines on those Pistons rosters? It ran through Isaiah, and then nobody wants to talk. Everybody's so in love with the Mighty Mouse, the little guy, rooting for him. You hate Isaiah Thomas because he was on the Bad Boy Pistons and he didn't shake Michael Jordan's hand. And, there are some other things I'm sure people might not like about him. But from that basketball standpoint, with him hooping, I'm sorry. I'm only taking, Steph and Magic Johnson above IT. And, folks can take that how they want. But I'm glad we both on the same page about how cold that man was when he was at the top. So vibe with me here. All right. So after Isaiah Thomas, then I got Oscar Robinson. I got the original Mr. Triple Double. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm more books and stories and some of the greatest players talking about Oscar Robinson and me taking their word for it than actual game film. Okay, so that's why I got him. And then finally rounding out, I don't really care for the man too much. I don't. But then I got John Stockton. I mean, that assist record is not going to be touched. I don't think ever again. I mean, he went to 2 finals. I don't know. If that is wrong, I would love to be told I'm wrong. But I see his accomplishments, and I'm just like, him and the perfect pairing that ever exists on a basketball court, apparently.
Please never mention.
First of all, actually, I'm gonna bleep it out. So,
John Stockton is like. He's like oatmeal, like very reliable. You don't want to like him, but he's just solid. And it's very hard because it's mad vanilla, like nothing, there's no flair. It's just what it is. But yes, he's a top point guard, even though I don't like to say it, but it is true. Facts are facts.
Don't say I'm wrong. Say I'm not wrong. That's not you saying it. You're just acknowledging that what I said wasn't wrong. We'll be cool with that. So CP's out for both of our top 5s, right? So I think Chris Paul in the totality of things, while everybody talks about he is the prototypical point guard of his generation, you're right. There are more seasons where you thought more was going to happen with teams that he was on, and I'm not even talking about winning an NBA championship. I'm talking about getting to one. Like we just said, this is numero uno. They're throwing water on this man in the locker room. Like this is his retirement year, and now they're getting to the NBA finals. Like he still has a couple more years left to play, but it's definitely on that back third of his career. So it's a huge, big deal. Real quick before we switch gears, the whole young Kobe, the reincarnation of Kobe Bryant in Devin Booker. Where do you fall on that? You're a Lakers fan. I'm a Lakers fan. I like Devin Booker. I like his game, but maybe folks are just seeing Kobe Bryant age 32 and beyond and think that they're seeing comparisons and not the young 8 Kobe who was just as nasty on the defensive end as the offensive end. I don't know. Where do you fall on the whole Devin Booker, Kobe reincarnated comparison?
I hadn't heard that. Like, this is my first time.
Oh, good. Well, let me tell you, I'm not the person who just made that up. That is not breaking news right now. This is rumors on the streets flooding it. My socks are wet, so I had to just let you know and get your opinion on
it. His game is nice. Like, he wearing Kobe's. He got the legendary tattoo on. I got that same, well, not the exact same tattoo, but I got a similar tattoo. Like, it's cool. Do your thing. Like, we all love Kobe. There's one Kobe. In crunch time, in times where before Chris Paul, like, is Devin Booker like your guy? Not right now, but someday he could be. Right. I don't see where the comparison to Kobe comes in, and that's just me.
You said in the first 6 seconds, the whole be legendary, Kobe taking him under his wing. Stephen A. Smith, now that you mention it, he started it. So now it's, on SportsCenter every time that the Suns play, he has to bring it up. So now it's in the world, and now I have to talk to people who I trust their opinions. That's why this show is called. And now a word from our sponsors, you see that, and get, just letting know that, hey, pump the brakes on the whole propaganda. And hey, as the man who has home of the propaganda network, that is just a little too much. Now, the Suns are probably young Suns fans are probably building statues of this man in sand and all types of crazy stuff right now. And, hey, everyone needs a hero, I guess, that drives pretty nice old school Chevy. So I'm not mad at that either.
I want to point out, Devin Booker's great. Chris Paul is great. He's great. Cam Hank, great. They have a great team. I don't know, like, one guy who was like, man, crunch time, that's your guy. Like, somebody could step up, but I don't see a mama mentality amongst the ranks. That's just me.
Speaking of weird seasons, everybody's already, trying to say, hey, everybody came down on the Lakers for winning a bubble championship, Mickey Mouse ring, all this, that, and the third. It's not real, right? They got blow pop trophies. Where does this season and the NBA championship fall for you? How will you remember whoever wins the trophy this year? It's either going to be someone, from Phoenix, someone from Milwaukee, or somebody from Atlanta. And that wouldn't have been anybody's guesses going into the championship. Maybe Milwaukee, obviously, but how are you going to look back on this season?
I won't. I'm about to sound like the big hater, but they didn't have enough time between seasons. So obviously you see the teams that went the longest in the bubble, they were first, like, bounced out. It's good for them, but the injuries are taking a toll. They're taking qualified teams out of this. And it's every season matters. Yes, every season counts, but this is just one of those weird anomalies where it's really like the last team with the most people standing wins. So
I guess if this is Mortal Kombat, I think that's a rightful champion. But, I would say, what? You got LeBron, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, right? Those are arguably 4 of the top 7 best players. Kyrie Irving, James Harden, right? Now you're talking about 6 out of the top 8 that all got hurt, in this playoffs to some extent, or right before it, or couldn't even play in the playoffs. So unfortunate. I, like you, am probably going to just expunge this one from the record. Fine, the Lakers didn't win. There's been years the Lakers didn't win the championship. Okay, this will just be one of those. Folks are talking about, how much are you watching these games? I got the games on. I do, but I'm doing other stuff. I'm not as locked in as I would be. My opinions ain't going to be as pointed. The jokes ain't going to be as on point as they usually are when the Lakers are in it. Social media is better when the Lakers are in the playoffs, and, we all can be funnier. Y'all want us there. You need us there.
No lies. I know we don't like Laker fans, but it's necessary. Like, we're necessary evil, I think.
Thank you. That's all I'd be trying to tell folks. Like, hey, just embrace, hey, we're the villains. Like, yes, there are a lot of obnoxious folks in the world. A lot of. Some happen to be Lakers fans, maybe, probably, right? But hey, it is what it is. Speaking of social media, I've seen announcements. I've seen thunderbolts all over the place. I've just, neon and all types of crazy stuff going on Twitter.com from your account. You have been promoting, you have been featuring, you've been talking about this really cool new sports app called Buzzer. Can you just educate me? I'm getting it, I want the skinny, I want the real. Just give me the lay of the land of this new Buzzer app and your involvement with it.
Buzzer, I started there maybe 2 months ago. It's really a way to capture that lightning in a bottle moment. A game is happening, where you're going to talk about the game. Everybody's on Twitter. Where can you watch if you are not around any TV? Devin Booker's going off for 60. Watch, X amount of this for the rest of the game or whatever. And it's just a way to, and I think some people had it wrong in the media. I've seen, I'm not gonna name any names, but I've seen people say oh, what's the difference between this and Bleacher? And I'm it's a huge difference. You have to actually read. But right now you could watch golf if that's your jam, or hockey or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it will let set your favorite teams, Lightning or Lakers or whatever you're into, and it will send you a notification when it's close to the fourth quarter. Because a lot of times, yes, we have the game on. Right now, I would have a NBA game on, but I'm not watching the full game because it's not
right.
my. And it's a product that's so Gen Z leaning, because Gen Z is not into teams; they're more into individual players. Mm-hmm. So you can follow your favorite player and get notifications, and then watch the game right there on your phone.
So if I said, hey, Anthony Davis, I'm subscribed to, Luka Doncic, I'm subscribed to, Donovan Mitchell, I'm subscribed to, anytime they're playing and they could be getting hot, I'll get a notification on my phone and say, hey, your boy doing this thing right now, you might want to tap in. And, there's sounds like a small fee associated with each game that I want to view.
I think it's a really great resource. And I didn't think about the idea, but I thought about Buzzer. A couple of weeks ago, I was moving and there was the Nets game 7 and somebody else had a game 7, and I'm, no TV, no access. And I'm just this would be clutch for anybody who's moving, you're hanging out with your family, you're doing whatever. You can't watch games at all times, but if I can watch it quickly on my phone, that's 99 cents I'd be willing to pay.
Oh, fact. It makes me think about when I go and visit my wife's families. I love them to death, but they're not really TV people. And
I'm sorry.
They said they're not TV people. My wife's family, and so they'll we'll just be in there and talking and listening to music. They're music folks, right? So they'll just have music playing and having conversations, right? And I probably set that up wrong. They were just just silent in the house all day. They're normal folks. They just don't get down with TV. So, but there's plenty of times, or there'll just be one TV in the house, and plenty of times I just can't take over and say, hey, I'm trying to watch this. It's a crazy game right now. Don't mean to be rude, but it sounds like with the Buzzer app, I could just tune in. I get a notification. I could just tune in and be like, hey, this looks like it's getting good. Let me see what it's talking about. I like it. I like the concept. It's really cool.
I was gonna say we're adding, we're trying to add new leagues, and really bring in the right partners and the right partnerships, and just getting athletes on board. Michael Jordan is an investor. Wayne Gretzky, Sabrina Ionescu, Naomi Osaka. We got J. Cole, which was pretty dope.
Certified.
Scotty James. Yeah, Scotty James if you're into snowboarding. Bosco, Taylor Rooks, Renee Montgomery, it seems like everybody. Oh, Devin Booker, and he's actually
relevant.
Melo, he's into the idea. So yeah, it's a really cool product, and I'm very glad that people are seeing the value in it. But more so than the product, I think the CEO, the founder, Bohan, is building the team the right way. For me, in my all my personal career, I worked at ESPN, USA Today. I've never worked for somebody who was at the top, but so genuine, very intentional. The way he builds a team, the way he, the culture around the Buzzer, it's unmatched, and that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps, like, I think everybody else going. And it's just really like a team.
That's what's up. Well, I mean, that's hopefully no one of my employers are watching, but if y'all are hiring, let me know. I got Chicago remote locations or anything like that. Just we'll talk about it. We'll offline that. The script, but I did ask you as a late addition to our conversation about what is Jasmine's phone setup look like. I believe you have an iPhone too, right? We both have iPhones. And yes. I wanted to know, for somebody who's been in the social media game as long as you have and been in the weeds of knowing the good, the bad, the ugly, what are your top apps on your phone? Just walk me through. What are your go-to on a daily basis?
I'm a cheat, but this is not going to count. Buzzer is about to be number one.
Right. We led with that one. Of course, it's going to be number one.
Okay. Twitter is obviously very huge for me. I'm not proud of this, but I do wake up, just scroll through Twitter, see what people are talking about.
It's so bad. I do the same thing. It's like one of the top first three things I do in the day. I'm like,
right. I don't know what it is, but it draws you in and you feel like you're missing out. And even though it's just like crap a lot of times.
Caught up on the morning news.
Yeah. Instagram, even though I don't like how they like redesigned it, it's still a cool app to like keep up with, see what people are up to. The music app, if that counts. Apple Music.
It counts. Okay. Apple Music, I have questions. I was on Apple Music, did the family plan. I didn't really have any complaints about it, right? Okay. But I feel like I was missing out on new music. And everybody was talking about, Spotify got the playlist. If you like, it knows what you like and then like would suggest more songs to you. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good. I can, I'm aging now, Jasmine. I'm not early 20s. I ain't got time to be, scrolling on that Piff or whatever sites folks be dropping music, SoundClouds and shit. I'm just like, oh my God. To be. So I'm like, okay. I told my wife, I said, baby, we're going to jump over to Spotify. We're going to check it out. She's like, what about all my songs that I liked, my albums? I was like, it's okay. You just redo it, you re-like it, and then they'll suggest more for you. It hasn't done that for me. I don't know why. I get the same 80% of songs that I've already liked, and then like a sprinkle of some shit that I can't even understand these days. Where do you stand on, do you have Spotify? Do you use Spotify? Do you like it more or less than Apple Music?
I like it less. I've used Spotify. I know a couple of people at Spotify, so they ask me like, just tell them what I like, tell them what I don't like. But I don't like it versus Apple Music. Like, it's. I love Drake, so anytime anything Drake related, Apple Music will send me like, oh, he's featured on this song or whatever, and I can easily, share it. Or this is what I'm listening to. I can see what my friends are listening to if I'm into that kind of rap. But the ease of use is unmatched.
Yeah.
Apple Music made a playlist, and it obviously was called like Jasmine's playlist. They play things every single song. I'm like, ooh, like I loved it. It wasn't in my library, but I'm like, this is dope.
Right. Okay. I don't know who signed up and signed off on the feature on Spotify where if I want to play an album, it's already on shuffle. Like, I need to talk to whoever set that up as a default. And I know I can just turn it off, but I don't want to have to say, oh, don't play a new album on shuffle. Like, that seems like an inconvenience for my life. Or am I just not doing something right?
Is that a problem? Because I often listen to albums on shuffle.
What? I don't know. Maybe I'm the weirdo. No, I got to hear it chronologically. I got to hear song after, like, unless I just want to hear a couple of songs and then get off it. Like, so a new album, you have no problem with just listening to the songs, no matter the order.
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think I'm taking it back because I don't know why you're so passionate about hearing the song 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, why does it have to be like that?
Because that's okay. So I'll tell you exactly why. You go to a nice fancy dinner. They say it's a 7-course meal, and then they just bring out the dessert then bring out the appetizer, then bring out the main course, then bring out your drinks, then bring out your coffee at the very end. Like it makes no sense. I don't care if it all tastes good. I don't care if it all, it all goes down the same. It goes to the same place. How I digest it is different. And that's literally the problem that I have with it. After the first time, okay, I can get down with it. But the first time, Jasmine, you gotta ABC.
It's because my music is already on shuffle, like to begin with. Like my workout playlist is always on shuffle. Even if I just like pick a song, it'll go through, I don't know, all 5,000 on shuffle. Like everything is just shuffle. Branch out, live freely,
Live free. Just live on the edge. Just listen to the music, not how the artist intended. Just, hey, listen to track 7, then come back to 1, and then listen to the one where I'm singing, then talk about the one that I'm shooting somebody and robbing people back in my young day. Then I'll talk about how I found God. There it goes. Wasn't that such a great collection of music?
First of all, listening on shuffle is not listening. Is not living life on the edge. I just want to point that out.
Okay, we will agree to disagree, but I appreciate the perspective there, Jasmine. You're going to make me go back and reconsider, is this actually a flaw in my personality that I'm so fixated on this? But okay, it's all good. All good.
I've gotten flamed for like listening to things on shuffle. They've called me like serial killer, all that kind of stuff. But, just live life outside of these like parameters that are put on you. Just because they're numbered don't mean you have to go by the numbers.
That's fair. That's fine. That's fair. I speed, right? I don't go the speed limit at all times. I might as well just listen to the last song of the album first. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe my show would take off faster than it is right now. Okay. Okay. But no, all jokes aside, Jasmine, I really appreciate you coming on the show. It was great chopping it up with you. Hopefully we'll get to do this again. This was actually, Jasmine's our first time talking over webcam, but it was definitely a pleasure meeting you and chopping it up with you.
Anytime. Like I'm here, always down to. Before I was like hella shy, never wanted to like jump on a podcast, but you're cool and I'm down. Like, yeah.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.